Alright, today I'm going to walk you through the new Eternity of Pain. This is the robot objective, and my team for this is Nebula, Dragonman, and Warlock, but in the first 4 fights you can use one non-tag champion, and I picked Hercules. So Hercules is going to do his own fight. He's going to fight himself in the first part, then he's going to fight Havok, and then Nick Fury. So the Hercules fight, it's pretty straightforward, but just prepare to fail a lot of your abilities because he has a ton of concussions. He has Infuriate. It's just a very annoying fight overall. However, Hercules just does it pretty well. So you just want to do standard Hercules things, try to trigger the Infuriate, try to make him aggressive. You will lose a lot of health to brute force, just keep that in mind, because he plays very passive and it's just very annoying. But when he doesn't play passive, you can just go for your intercepts, go for your special one, and then you can just start dishing out a ton of damage, and it's overall a pretty not bad fight. It's just really annoying with the concussions and all that. So now let's talk about the Havok fight. The Havok fight is very straightforward. You just want to go in, do as much damage as you can, and then if you die, you die. You just revive, and then that's about it. I got it down in 1 revive. Maybe a rank 4 Hercules can solo it if you go in with higher health. But yeah, just really nothing to worry about here. It's just a standard Havok fight. You just want to just go for your SP2, go for your SP1, do the usual Hercules things, trigger immortality, try to chain a stun or two, and then yeah, it's a pretty straightforward fight overall. As you can see here, I'm in immortality now, so I can just be unblockable, go for my SP2, just dish out as much damage as possible before immortality runs out, and then once it runs out, I'm just done for and then I have to revive. But I think I actually got lucky here and I was able to finish off the fight because he was just playing very passive. He would just keep blocking and I can just get my openings really easily. So yeah, if Havok plays into you, then you can solo this fight with Hercules pretty easily. And now let's talk about the Warlock fight. So the Warlock fight is a bit interesting. I'm using a 5-star Warlock, so it's a bit harder, but I'm also running a 200% tech boost, and I heavily suggest that. I really suggest that you run a 200% tech boost here, because you can go to back-to-back SP2s, and it's just a very easier time when you have a boost on. So yeah, additionally, I forgot that I am running champion boost here as well, just because I'm running a 565 Warlock, a rank 2 Nebula, and a rank 2 Dragonman. So yeah, I heavily suggest boosting. I said this in my earlier video that you do want to boost for this content because it is just very difficult. The health pools are very high. So yeah, as you can see, you want to cleanse, you want to trigger the cleanse, right? Because then your arm breaks will stick throughout the whole SP2. And then once that happens, you're just chilling, man. You get a massive SP2. Make sure to intercept them because you can get a guaranteed crit passive once you intercept him. So just keep that in mind as well. And yeah, if you do those things, this should be a very annoying but manageable fight. It's annoying because Warlock just does a ton of block damage, especially to my 5-star Warlock. But if you have a 6-star rank 3 Warlock, then this should be quite close to a solo, maybe 1 revive at maximum. If you're using a 5-star Warlock like me, you can expect 1 to 2 revives still nonetheless. Now we have this Nick Fury fight, and this one is a bit weird. So if you're running the recoil masteries, he will just be spamming SP2 the whole entire fight, and then you get these openings, right, with the power lock to inflict damage. So you can do that, or you can just turn off the recoil masteries and make this a very quick solo. But if you don't do that, then this will be a very painful solo. I got it down in 1 revive. You can solo this for sure. It's just very annoying if you're running the recoil masteries. But yeah, he's not really that difficult besides just having to bait out his SP2 for ever. He does have defective defense, so to keep that in mind, that your immortality can fail, but just try not to take any block hits in the first place, and you should be fine. So as you see here, I just gave up. I was I'm just not gonna bait the special attack. I'm just gonna go in. If I die, I die. And yeah, so I just got impatient there. But if you play very patiently, you can solo the fight just by baiting out the special attacks. And yeah, so here you want to swap out Dragonman. So just keep that in mind. You want to swap out Hercules for Dragonman. And now we have this MODOK fight. So this MODOK fight is very straightforward with Nebula because you just want to parry, and then you have the shock, and this node is where if you have a shock debuff, you reduce his auto block ability accuracy by 200%. So yeah, overall, just a very straightforward Nebula fight. Can be done in a solo. Expect a revive or two because, not everyone's perfect, and this guy has a very weird AI, so he can just be very annoying at times. So not the worst fight in the world. The only challenging thing about this is that it's MODOK, so MODOK has a very bad AI, and he's just very weird, and the special one can be pretty annoying to decks as well. But yeah, once you learn the SP1 decks very well, it becomes a very like simple fight because Nebula just like counters it so well overall. So yeah, I would suggest using her. You can use Warlock as well, but you have to play like very solid. So I would just say like Nebula is just safer overall. And speaking of Nebula, now we have this Blade fight. So this Blade fight sucks, man. It's so annoying because it's like weirdly difficult. Like there's nothing too difficult about it, but it just is still for me somehow. Maybe destructive feedback is what makes it challenging, but overall, you just want to like use your SP1 before you can like use the surge charges, right? And then you just want to like build up your amp charges, you know, get some shocks on him. And it's just a very like weird fight because you can't really get to your SP2. You can't like double your shocks and all that. So it's just like a very slow fight, and that like can lead up to a lot of mistakes. So you can solo this fight, expect 1 to 2 revives. I think I used like 2. So yeah, it's just a very weird fight overall, and yeah, that's enough of that. This fight is just really weird. I'm not a fan of this fight at all. It's not that challenging, like there's nothing of like too much concern. It's just like a very weird fight because you can't really get your damage in. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Now we have this Terrax versus Dragon Man, and this fight sucks. This fight is terrible. The rock field damage is insanity. So yeah, just watch out for that. Boost up to the max. Boost your health to like the maximum. Just do as much damage as you can. Go in, and yeah, this fight, I would say 3 to 4 revives is realistic. You can get lucky and probably do it in like 2 or 3 if you have a rank 3 fully boosted Dragon Man. But for me, I had a rank 2, so this was like quite the few revives. I think I used like 4 in the end. So yeah, just be prepared. This guy sucks. This guy is just like so much rock field damage coming at you. Just try to space yourself with like the SP2 and the SP1. But even if you like stay in the rock field for like 1 second, you just take like so much damage output, man. It is insane. So yeah, this fight, not a fun time. Don't like be worried if you use a couple revives because this fight is very challenging. And now we have the opposite. This fight is a snooze fest. So Nebula counters Dragon Man because he is a robot and she reduces the ability accuracy of robots. So yeah, this fight is just really boring because there's literally no nodes once Nebula gets going. The unblockable node still does stay, actually, so just look out for that. He will get unblockable every few seconds, and just do not parry because you lose your amp charges and then you'll get an armor break on you and you will just die in an instant. So yeah, just don't parry. Build up to your SP3 so you can get some shocks going at least. That like helps the fight time a little bit. But this is a very long fight. But it should be a solo. But we're not perfect, so expect like 1 to 2 revives if you do just like not know how, if you're like not really familiar with Dragon Man overall. So yeah, not the worst fight in the world. Just super boring. And now we have Thanos, and Nebula just claps this guy, man. She is so good for this fight, and let me show you why right here. So you can see we're trying to get him to the first phase, right? And then once we do that, we're just gonna parry, and then we're gonna drop the SP2, and then that phase is done. Like, just like that. So here we go for the parry, right? And then now he's in his cocoon phase. Intercept with a special attack. You cannot intercept with basic attack because he'll just reflect that, and then you will die. But yeah, he just like instantly went to the next phase after that. And then we can just repeat that again with the second phase, and then he'll go into the last phase. And it's just a very like straightforward time with Nebula overall. This fight, Nebula just so good for this fight, man. She is by far the best counter on your team. Not even a competition, just because she just like bursts through the phases so fast. So yeah, very straightforward with Nebula. This phase can be annoying if you're not familiar with reverse controls, but if you are, then this is just a pretty straightforward phase as well for Nebula. So I go for the parry here, drop the SP2, and yeah, he just goes right into the next phase. Just crazy stuff in Nebula. I did, unfortunately, not solo because I started with too low of a health pool, but in this last phase, if you, like, die with Nebula, use Warlock. Warlock is just like really safe for the intercepts. So yeah, I just feel like way comfortable using him. But overall, if you full heal Nebula before this fight, you will be able to solo it for sure. If not, expect like maybe 1 to 2 revives overall. And yeah, that is the end of this run. So Warlock finishes him off, and you have now completed the robot challenge. So let me know if this helped you. This challenge, one of the easier ones, I feel like, because Nebula is just really strong for it overall. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the challenge, and hopefully this helps. And yeah, that's about it for me.